let's now come to the thing that we all have not wanted to talk about, but we have to talk about it now. The Red Bull drama.
Bum, bum,
Um,
bum.
and right off the bat, I want to say that at least me personally, I've not gone through the files that were leaked. Um, from
I
what
don't think any
little
one of us has. Has anyone
any
seen it?
one of us. No, I
No.
mean, like I found it on Reddit, and like it's all over the internet. Okay, there is
Oh,
it's not a problem of getting access to it. It's just that um the authenticity of those leaks cannot be verified, and also at the end of the day, it's a leak. The information has not come public voluntarily, and I just want to be respectful to all parties involved, even if not all of them deserve it. But for the sake of the victim, I haven't gone through any of that. Now, the
so I also
drama
not
that
gone
is
through
happening,
the files. I did not even
yeah,
search for it.
yeah,
I Same thing. It has to come from the official channel for me to
official
believe it.
channels,
And yeah,
yeah, yeah. As of now, the official investigation has cleared Christian Horner of all charges.
official internal investigation. I think that needs
Official
to be said
internal,
with
yeah, that needs to be clarified. Official internal investigation, official independent internal investigation. I don't know how those two words are together, but that is what it is.
Because there
They
are so
have
many investigations going on. I am losing track of so much that is going on inside
It
that
is
team.
so much. So apparently, Christian Horner wanted, after the death of the Red Bull guy. So after his death, um, Christian Horner wanted. There has been apparently a battle for the ownership of the Red Bull franchise, like the racing team. Christian Horner came with a bunch of British financiers, and he wanted to take the ownership. And then the Austrian and Thai partners of Red Bull wanted to keep the ownership with them, and that is why all these tensions have started. So now there are two teams. One is Christian Horner and Newey and their side of the camp, and then the other is Helmut Marko, Jos Verstappen, and the Thai and Austrian side of it. And that is what is happening. So,
so
um, and apparently
like
Helmut Marko has said that he could be suspended from Red Bull for allegedly leaking the information.
no, he could also be suspended from Red Bull for talking to the press, where I think after Bahrain he was told not to connect with the press. And the first thing he did the moment he landed in Saudi was a huge press conference.
I mean, of course, he's Helmut. When has he ever? Like, I find it very hard that Red Bull is now surprised all of a sudden that Helmut did not listen to us. Like, I mean, I think we have seen time and time again how much Helmut does not care about what uh,
He
is
says to whom
the
he
PR
says.
team strategy, what they want you to do. Helmut has never listened to that, has never respected that. And all of a sudden now you can't be surprised because it's such a precarious situation. So if you did not reel him in then, you don't have the right to act surprised now. It's as simple as that for me.
But my point is, there is a leak in the Red Bull, and everything has been happening very publicly. Like, be it Jos Verstappen meeting Toto or the
Yeah.
Newey to Ferrari move things, everything has been happening very public. My point is, why only stop Helmut Marko?
No, so the thing is that
Ask
if
Verstappen
Helmet
to not talk
leaves,
to anyone publicly.
if Helmet leaves, Max leaves Red Bull as well. Jos Verstappen again coming out and saying things about Horner, saying that he's the one who's playing the victim, whereas he's the one causing the problem. Um, and it's just, to me, it just feels like there are better ways to solve this. Everybody is just choosing the worst way to solve it. Have you watched My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jos Verstappen is Endeavor if Endeavor did not have a what is that called? Redemption arc. He is a has-been who is vicariously living through his young son to fulfill his dream, and he just needs to shut the fuck up. I don't know what he means to accomplish at Red Bull, but I think that they all need to just take a chill pill, just have some weed, and like just fucking calm the fuck down and like sort this out internally and then tell us which team won. It is like, I think it has become very clear that it's either going to be Horner and Newey at Red Bull, or it is going to be Helmet, Yoss, and Max at Red Bull. That has become very clear.
I think Horner is staying, Max is leaving.
Yeah.
Kicking
I-
Horner out has to be the worst decision Red Bull will ever take if they do that.
Yeah, but
Still letting Max go could be,
but again, like,
rectified.
from Horner's point of view, if this information has been leaked, would you want to stay in an organization like that? I know that, like, if Helmet and everybody leaves, then the people responsible for this alleged leak are gone and everything. But again, the fact of the matter is that information is out. Whether it's true or false, we right now sitting here cannot say, but of course people who are in the know-how in that environment know what is right and what is wrong. They might not be talking to the press and shit like that, but they know. Would you want to stay in an organization like that? And now there are
My
talks
point
about,
is, what if not Red Bull for Horner? See, for Max, there are hundreds of other things he could do. Like, even if not F1, he could join any other racing league or whatever he can do. But for
no, I
Horner,
think
if not F1, what?
for me, I think Horner's career in F1, if he leaves Red Bull, is done. No other
Exactly.
team
Not just
takes
F1. I don't see him doing anything
doing anything.
else. Yeah. Whereas for Max, it makes a lot more sense going to another team and winning again, because then
No,
he can prove himself that it's not just Red Bull, bro.
but it is just Red Bull. Are you saying that there are not other drivers on the field, on the grid right now who can defeat Max if they had just as good a car? I don't think so. There are
To be
plenty.
very honest, no. To be very honest, with the qualifying lap he had in Jeddah, it will be very difficult.
You
He
just
was
said Charles's Q2 time was faster than Max's pole time.
Jeddah,
That is what I'm saying.
Jeddah. That was Bahrain. Charles was close to Max in Bahrain, in Jeddah.
Yeah, but that's just one
He
track.
was
The
so
championship,
good.
the championship is not one race though. It's a 24
But
race.
he always pushes the limit, and there are very less drivers who are going to do that, who are willing to go the extra mile, all elbows out for each race, trying to die but win. So there are very few drivers who are at that level, which you can say, okay, tell me very honestly, from all the 10 teams that we have, how many of the drivers do you think are championship material right now? Remove Max. Let's remove Max from the equation. How many drivers are championship material?
Charles,
Yeah,
Lewis,
1, 2,
Fernando,
3.
Norris. If
Sainz.
he, I mean, Norris, okay, he's mistake prone. I will, Sainz, for sure. Sainz is
4.
4. Yeah, 4. How many more do you need? At this point, we would be happy with a two-way battle, man. I've just named 4 people who can
From all the
actually drive to that
from
level
all the
if they
4
have a
drivers,
car like that.
no, I still think that from all the 4 drivers, at this point in time, Max is the only one who is having a flawless race week again and again and again and again and again.
Okay,
No.
can imagine a situation where
Charles's weekend in Saudi was also flawless. It's just that that's the potential of the car. That's how fast the car is. That's what I'm saying. The car does matter. You think after 2021, 2022, if Lewis had a similar car to what the car was in 2020 or 2021, he would not be fighting Max for the championship? What are you saying, man? It's the potential of the car.
But
Like the driver makes a difference. I'm not saying that he does not make a difference. I'm not saying that Max is not like outperforming that car or some shit like that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that even if these other drivers are outperforming their respective cars, the cars in and of themselves do not have the potential to rival what that Red Bull machinery is. That Max is actually outperforming. And maybe out of the 4 names I said, 1 or 2 might not still be able to drive that, but there is no way if Fernando Alonso or Lewis Hamilton are in a Red Bull, they won't be giving Max a run for his money. They would at least try. Max might still win. I'm not saying that it is 100% definitely certain that Max will lose. Max might still win, but I'm saying that they can give him a run for his money. And so, like, you cannot take out the potential of the car from the equation. Outperforming and driving the wheels of a car is in driver's hand. But at the end of the day, the car has to be good for you to win championships.
yeah, but I mean, so okay, the car is
Tomorrow
by
Newey,
Adrian
if
Newey.
tomorrow Newey goes to Ferrari, which is again what the rumors are, if tomorrow Newey goes to Ferrari, I think Red Bull is going to see a decline and Ferrari is going to improve.
Exactly. So then doesn't that make sense for him to go to Mercedes?
It makes
That
sense for him to stay in the team where Newey is, where he can give him a car that is good enough. That is what I'm
but
saying.
Newey's entire team is about to go to Ferrari. Who will develop that car?
There is nobody to develop that car. But whatever team Newey goes to, nobody on the current grid right now can develop a car to the level that Newey will. So if Max is not in the same team as Newey, that is not happening. That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, because this is the 3rd year of these regulations. Shakundi, and nobody, like, Max won the first race by 22 seconds. And I think here the difference was only because, one, there was a safety car. 2, I think after a point, Max was also chilling. Like, he just needs to maintain a good enough gap of 7-8 seconds where he's like, okay, nobody's going to bother me, and then not push and just bring the car home. It's as simple as that. He's not pushing after a point. But if
Dude,
the
he's
driver
pulling
who is
away from
number
the
2
pack from lap 2.
from lap 2 onwards, like, the DRS gets activated on lap 2 and Max is already out of DRS range. The
Yeah,
car
he goes
has
out
the
of the
potential.
DRS range from lap 1 only.
Exactly my point. So you cannot discount the fact that the car is actually really, really, really good. And I see your point that if Newey is not in Red Bull, it doesn't make sense for Max to stay at Red Bull. I get your point. But at the same time, right now, if Newey leaves for another team, Red Bull is still the only car that can actually match whatever the next car Newey develops. Currently, in the kind of advantage that Red Bull car has, I mean, worst case scenario, if Newey is not with Red Bull and Max stays at Red Bull, he can still win until 2025, at least, if not beyond that. I mean, 2026 onwards, we anyways have new regulations, so it does not matter. But, like, even with the kind of advantage that Red Bull has right now, Max can win next year also. That because that car is bonkers. Doesn't make sense for Max to leave Red Bull. Going to Mercedes, Toto said, yeah, of course, I will improve the car. Of course, they want to improve the car. You think he wants to improve the car more for Max and less for Lewis, with whom they've won 7-8 championships? What are you saying, man?
Now I think so.
No, now maybe, but it's not like 22, 23, they didn't want to improve their car.
Dude, also, like, is Mercedes willing to put Russell as a second driver again?
Yeah.
Like, is Russell okay with being second driver?
There
To be
is no
very
way
honest, at
Max
this
is going.
point, no one is thinking of Russell at this moment.
Yeah, I know. But will he be okay with that? Man, I don't think so.
He can retire if he wants to next year.
But also,
But
no,
he is
no,
not
but
that
also,
driver.
do you think that Mercedes is going to be as unequivocally behind Max as they are at Red Bull? Like, no. If let's say
I think so.
for next season, uh, Max is at Mercedes and they do improve their car and they have one of the fastest cars on the track. But George and Max are putting in equal performances. Who do you think? Oh, do you think they are going to be no Max? Max is our chosen star, or are they going to be like George Russell? Then what is stopping George to go to another team?
And
I mean, George is their
they might
academy
even go
driver.
like
They
Rosberg
have
Hamilton
invested,
way.
yeah, they have invested so much money in George. Why would they support Max just because he's
Yeah,
signed?
exactly.
Doesn't make sense for Max to leave Red Bull, and it
But
doesn't
if
make sense for this fracture to happen like this. Like at the end of the day, it is just a sad power struggle between has-beens of the sport who have not had any success, who are going to ruin a young driver's career because of this, who could very well. I mean, Max has talent and he can very clearly outperform any car he's driving, but there is no other car currently on grid that can match the potential of the Red Bull, not even the McLaren.
McLaren is struggling right now. Right now, I would not consider McLaren in top
But
three at
that is
this
my
point.
point. But that is my point. There is no other car. Even last year, with all the upgrades that McLaren brought, and all of a sudden they were good, they still could not beat Max, except for that one odd Qatar sprint win by Oscar. They couldn't catch Max. So it doesn't make sense for him to leave Red Bull. But at the same time, for that car to remain as good, he needs the expertise of Newey also to stay at Red Bull. And he, I think, in all of this, can be like, guys, calm the fuck down. Like, I think whatever is the outcome of this entire situation, the biggest loser is again Max. And I think that Max is the only one who can actually bring all these people in line, in check, but he's not doing anything about it, which is what is the saddest thing.
But already like both the parties have started to talk shit to each other.
They're talking shit to each other, they're doing press conferences, they are like just all of it is so childish and so high school that I cannot even fathom that these are all 50+ year olds. And helmet is like 80. It baffles my mind that you have built this incredible team and you have been smashing records for the last 2 years, and then you are going to give all of that up for this pettiness. And it's not like Newey is as easily replaceable. If he was, one of the teams would have gone and taken the next Newey, whoever was in line, whoever could replace him, whoever could come close. The closest anybody has come to that Red Bull, I would say, is 2002 Ferrari. That's it.
Yeah, in first three races.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that car was still fast.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then look at 2023 season for Ferrari. They were not they were still fast, but they were not as close as they had been in 2022. So you
dude, it
cannot
genuinely
discount the
feels like
importance. You cannot discount the importance of the technical side of the sport, which is the
yeah.
machinery.
Also, it genuinely feels like Max is in a different league.
Yeah.
That he is.
And that car and his talent both. It's like,
I mean, as much as it would be good for the sport if Max is not in that Red Bull and if that Red Bull is not that powerful and we can have a battle between, like, if you even last year, if you remove Max from the equation of the drivers' championship and you look at how the championship progressed between Fernando, Lewis, Perez, Charles, Sainz, like there was so much, like between that position of 2 to 5, 6, there was so much ups and downs. We could have such a beautiful battle, but that is the success that Red Bull has had with Max and with the car that Adrian Newey has built. So uh I think Max wanting to go to Mercedes is not wrong, but he should not be going to Mercedes because of this petty power scramble that is going on in Red Bull right now. And I just think at the end of the day, it is just pathetic.
And if
That
it
you
comes
would
to
just
like driver A versus driver B, who is like a number one driver, number two driver, if it comes to that situation between Max and Russell, man, clearly Mercedes has it that we don't prefer anyone. You go and sort it out on the racetrack.
yeah. Then
Simple.
it's a Rosberg Lewis
Yeah,
situation.
exactly.
Yeah.
Man, Max won't be like their adopted son or anything.
Yeah. Max is
He
not
will
going to
just
have the
be,
kind of privilege
yeah,
that he has at Red Bull, where he can
yeah,
get away with
Russell and Mick
everything.
Schumacher. All three
Max
of them
does
will
not,
be equal.
yeah, Max does not belong in the Mercedes PR machinery with the kind of
Yeah.
press conferences he gives. Um, it is, you cannot discount the fact how big of an advantage it is that the Red Bull team is built around him. Everything in their culture, in the machine that they built, in the overall atmosphere, at like everything is built and catered around Max. So
First step, he has to keep his father away.
yes, Endeavor without a redemption arc out, please.
It's like I have won 3 championships. What I'm doing, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Simple. That's it.
It's sad that Max has these problematic guys as role models. Like it's just really sad. I know he feels like he owes Helmet because Helmet was the one who gave him chance and everything, but to be very honest, Max would have had success in any team.
Yeah.
And
Also, he
to be
should not
very
forget that
honest,
he is
if
Helmut Marko. He's
and
not a sane guy.
and he was also like Red Bull promoted him mid-season because he was being poached by Mercedes to replace Nico. They were in talks with Max to sign him for Mercedes. And the worst thing is that maybe uh like what I think is that maybe all Horner did was cheat on his wife, but because they got to know about this affair, they started to do this whole shebang. Like it could be like at this point, I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
they are ruining their golden era.
Yeah, and like
And
this is
this
not how we
might
would
be
want.
like, yeah, this is a time frame where it can be like an etched into histories.
Yeah, but they are undoing everything that they have achieved for the last 2 years by like they're literally harming the brand name, and they are bickering over who gets to control what uh, in the most childish manner that men in powerful positions do. It is really sad and pathetic.
It is weird in a way.
It's very weird. Yeah, that is true. I mean, the only good thing about this is that like between races now, you remember how in races they used to always interview Christian Horner?
Yeah.
They've stopped doing that. Now it's James Walls. So I'm happy about that at least. But yeah, this is not
The
how
only
I
good
would
thing
want.
coming out of this is next season DTS.
I don't know how much DTS will cover, man, given how well
Yeah.
they covered the
Yeah.
2021 season, which is also
Or
so ridden with
they might just
controversy.
be like, man, we are staying off controversy. We are here to
Yeah,
just show the race and banter.
yeah, yeah. Because unless and until there is like a proper resolution, and especially because the allegations are serious, like if they're true, they are very serious. And if they are true, then Horner should not be part of Red Bull. Like in no way should he be uh leading that team. So, but again, because the investigation was internal, I'm like not too sure. But with this power struggle thing that has come out, I'm like, if this was a ploy to like push Horner out of Red Bull and that is why they did it, and still the investigation found out that nothing was wrong, so maybe there was actually nothing wrong and it was just to get Horner out. Like, it's just there are so many ifs and buts because they're not making any information public and they are not doing any press conference
Mm.
official so that they can clear the matter
And also,
properly.
like, Verstappen Senior is a type of guy who would pull this off.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
and Helmut Marko.
Helmut Marko, yeah, exactly, which is what his alleged suspension could be about,
Yeah.
is talking to press, and maybe he's the one who leaked it because the material was leaked the day after the verdict of the investigation came out and they cleared Horner. So it is crazy. And the thing is that Red Bull said to all English media at least that if you report on this, we are going to take legal action, which I'm like, okay, so is it because it is going to be defamation, or is it because uh they don't want it out and so they are threatening to take legal action, but it is actually true? I mean, like, are you doing it because it is true and you don't want it out and so that's why you can guise it as defamation, or is it because it is actually false and it will be defamation? So I'm not sure. And yeah, the whole thing is just sad.
And I wanted to say Red Bull decline, but not in this way.
Yeah, yeah, I would want to see Red Bull not decline. I would actually want
Like,
other teams to
to
build up
like
their car to
equal
the
machinery.
equal machinery that can compete with the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, as much as we bitch and moan about the fact that, oh my god, Red Bull is so strong, this, that, blah blah blah, but uh if tomorrow there is a season where they all have equal machinery, it's because they have made improvements, and at the end of the day, that's what
Yeah.
Formula One is about, right? It's technology,
Man,
it's building the fastest cars, it's doing
yeah,
innovative
kudos to
things,
Red Bull for making that car like that.
making that car. Yeah,
Simple.
yeah,
There is nothing illegal in doing that. And
yeah,
every team has an equal opportunity to do that.
yeah.
It's not like FIA is
The
treating Red Bull differently.
differently.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, the funniest thing is that Adrian Newey saying that, like, now they are, I think, moving towards a zero sidepod concept, which is what Mercedes went with. And if Red Bull and Newey can make it work, then it's like, then it is actually proof that the other teams don't have the necessary, I would say, expertise or that level of expertise. Because if Adrian Newey can make a zero sideboard concept work, when we saw Mercedes struggle with it for 2 years, that just proves the genius of that man. Not that it needs
Yeah,
proving.
it's
I think
also like
everybody
again a
knows.
fix for the Mercedes.
Yeah. So, uh, this is not how Red Bull should decline. And these has-beens just need to, like, yours Verstappen, I think, is the worst. Uh, and I don't know, man. How is Max still like
Him and
that boy
Helmut
needs
Marko.
therapy? Yeah, he needs better role models. He needs better men to look up to. Like, though
Mm.
they are all problematic characters, and ugh, it's just the worst thing ever. Anyways, solo, let's close this. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's the end of this episode.